Rob Grimes with the IFBTA, and I'm really pleased today to be with one of our newest global industry partners, Alex Kinnier, who's the CEO and co-founder of GetUpside. So welcome, and welcome to the IFBTA.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about the growth plan and the vision. So I think we get it, how you're partnering. You've talked about how you're going to grow geography-wise and new markets and things like that. Will you do international?
Yes. So the international markets, especially Europe and Canada, they function very similarly in terms of the data access and the consumer needs. And so those are definitely areas that we'll expand into.
Right. So with everybody being concerned about the data access laws, you're right, that some areas would be harder than others to do it, right?
No. So actually, because we don't use any personally identifiable information, you know, we're not using some crazy Facebook data dump. We only work with non-PII data.
Right.
It makes us so that we can work in all countries. What I was specifically referring to is that in countries which don't use, which are mainly a cash-based economy, we don't work well in because there isn't a historical log of transactions at that store.
Right, exactly. Well, okay, so that does create a challenge, and that would create probably an opportunity to come up with some creative thinking of how to do that, right?
For sure. Yep.
Make your own cash, but you don't want to be a processor, and you don't. Right. I get that. Okay, so. On the food service restaurant industry, if you have 10,000 merchants today, what percentage of those are in the food service restaurant side?
Probably about 20%.
20%. Okay, and it's really a new entry for you, right? Because when I met some of your people, it's within the last 6 months, and then you made a big splash at the National Restaurant Show, and so you're now out there really promoting this, right? So it's about 6 months. Is that about
correct.
right? Okay. So at 20% in 6 months is pretty good.
Not bad.
So as we look forward to all of the different markets it can do, there's petroleum, there's convenience stores. I'm sure there's some other markets you're thinking about, and you got the restaurant food service market. What is your thought, for growth in North America, of units year on year in the next couple, 3 years? And do you think it's going to be the biggest part of your business down the road because of how many independents and things there are in the chains?
So we grew about 17x last year, and we're on track to grow a similar size again this year. The growth is driven by two things. One is increasing our geographic footprint, and so we'll have the national footprint by the end of this year. And the second is that once we are within a city, we're constantly expanding the categories. So gas and convenience, restaurants, and grocery. Why do we pick those three? Well, because those are the major categories of everyday spend in the communities around us. Once we're in those categories, the plan is to expand into drug, and then into every smaller categories, health and beauty, the dry cleaner. Our approach.
Well, they're all retail.
That's right. Our approach, the proof of incrementality, the no work, the profit sharing, the proof of incremental profit on every single transaction can be applied to all brick and mortar, which brings us back to the vision statement of the beginning, which is we want to digitally personalize all brick and mortar commerce.
Okay, so I get it why you're focused on this industry, and those other industries makes a lot of sense. I mean, look, if it's the cleaner, I probably have a set transaction, so unless you're bringing me new customers, it's going to be hard to get me to clean more clothes,
new customers,
right?
That's right.
So so I clearly get that. And I see, but you're talking about going nationwide, and you're talking about doing independents. The enterprise guys are one thing. You make one sale, you do 1,200 or 1,600 restaurants, but that's going to take a hell of a sales force to do that.
This is the power of the product, and we learned a lot of lessons at Google from this. We have a direct sales force, which goes after the large folks, right? But we've built a product which is easy enough to sign up. It's self-service. And so we're now seeing that today. When we're live in a city, and we reach a critical mass, the independents hear about us. They hear about us either through press and PR. They hear about us from the advertising that we're doing on the radio. And they hear about us from word of mouth of other owners. They come to the website. They find it interesting. They can literally put their restaurant live on the product within 5 minutes of work. And because there's no you can drop out at any time. Like we have an extraordinarily low dropout rate, but that there's no barrier to entry, and so they're able to launch and then see. the results. And that is the long tail strategy.
And you actually could probably also have a call center making calls to them to sign them up and things. But you
100%.
expect them word of mouth to hear that.
I mean, we're seeing it today, which is really, really encouraging, because we're seeing these owners come in and say, I want to see what this is all about. This looks very different than anything I've seen before.
But you also use the word personalization, and I think that's probably really core and key to what you're doing, because it isn't just about the acquisition, but it's personalizing something so that you're different from somebody else. It also gives you, if you're a smaller group, the ability to compete against the large people that are there. So what exactly does personalization mean?
Okay, so every one of us is online. In the online world, you may or may not realize it, but every experience you have is personalized for you. The content, the pricing, the promotion is different for you than it is for me. The news sites that you go to, placement on page, the things that are pushed up, the pictures that you see are different than it is for me. When it's done well, it's not creepy. It's actually beneficial. It's being done not because it's a cool technical trick. It's being done because it increases profitability for the provider.
So much time too.
And it's increasing the happiness of the customer.
Right.
In the brick and mortar world, that just doesn't exist until our platform.
Sure.
And we're trying to bring that same level of personalization and the same level of measurement that is in the online world to the offline world. Amazon is the king of this. So in the online world, obviously you know your Amazon experience is personalized for you. You see the curated offerings that they're offering to you based off of what you've done in the past. What's less clear, though, is that the price that you're charged is the same for everybody. But that discount, that little like yellow percentage off, is actually personalized, part one. Part two is, if you've ever been in an Amazon, have you been in the Amazon bookstore in Georgetown or
Not
in
to
Bethesda?
bookstore, but I've been to Amazon Go.
Okay.
I've been to,
But so the Amazon bookstore, I would highly encourage people to go into. When you go into the Amazon bookstore, you will recognize that something is missing. And that something that's missing is there's actually no prices on anything. In front of every book is a huge barcode. To get a price, you have to take out your phone and scan the barcode. What happens? When you scan that barcode with your Amazon app, they know everything about you. Now, the price that you're charged is the same for everybody. To be clear, they're not price discriminating at the top line.
Right.
But the percentage off is completely different for everybody, because they know what does it take to drive incrementality, part one. Part two is they then bundle below that. They bundle and say, hey, we recommend this to you. We recommend this to you, right? And they're bundling for you.
It's the upsell.
Why are they doing this? They are not doing it because it's a cool technical trick. And they are not doing it because people really love to scan barcodes. They are doing it because it is measurably more profitable to conduct business that way, because they can treat every single customer as an individual, very much like the way they're able to do it in the online world. And every single retailer who is thinking about the future of their business needs to be thinking about this trend. And then the question is, how do you deliver? This is not easy to deliver, right? And so we are working to develop a platform which does make it easy, which does make it as measurable. You can try it in our product, and if you like it, then our APIs can enable you to build your own products off of it if you want to do that. Many people think that that's too far.
And that does come back to the earlier conversation of how do you actually help somebody with their business, right? But it's interesting. I always find it interesting, and nothing is actually really new. It's just a new platform on it. And many years ago, the casino industry would know this, and hotels would know this. You would sit there and say that, a hotel is a head in a bed kind of thing, and most of the rooms sort of look the same. The question is, can you enhance the experience while they're there? Will they use the spa? Will they use the gym? Will they use the restaurants, which a lot of them don't do? Are there other amenities that you have in the room that they can use? And there was this theory that the more you spend, in fact, may show the happier you are if it's a good spend with a return. It's like offering the right wine pairings in a meal or dessert, right? And so in reality, that's exactly the same thing. You're learning from what they want. You want to increase the spend. It doesn't mean you're being pushy, but you're enhancing the service and the satisfaction in it. And you're doing that. So just a couple of other questions for you in this. So was this your first year at the National Restaurant Show?
It was.
Okay. So I'm not sure what you thought about it. And I'm sure you walked around the tech area, but hopefully you had a chance to walk around the rest of the show.
For sure.
So was there something eye-opening that you just never thought about before in this industry, that there you are seeing what restaurateurs are doing?
I think one of the eye-opening things for me was, we've learned a lot in the convenience store industry about the challenges with labor.
Right.
And so I think one of the eye-opening things was all of the solutions or the potentials, the people who are trying to deliver solutions for the labor side of the business, I found to be very, very interesting.
So there's no way, I mean, you say Lee's Hoagies, nobody's going to know what Lee's Hoagies is unless you're actually from the area. So you were really taking a shot out there because you assumed I might know what that is. But that's interesting. I go to Dino's down at the shore too.
Very good. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So you have a heart. You have a place in your heart for the hoagies. And what'd you see that was there?
Well, Lee's Hoagies was there, and so
they had their own booth.
Yeah.
Were they franchising? I guess, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I go to the show and I circulate between the 3 hot dog stands, Nathan's Vienna Beef, and then there's a local one that's pretty good, and that's sort of my thing. There's some people do the yogurt and the cheese, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, is there something when you entered into this industry, since you've been at it for 3 years, let's say in this industry, looking at it from the beginning, let's say a year ago or something like that, is there something you didn't expect that just you thought you were getting into this, and then you sat there and said, I didn't really know this about the industry. Is there something you've learned, coming in?
I think I've been pleasantly surprised by the continuing desire of the owners that I work with to continually improve. Right? They got into this business for one reason or the other, many times because they loved the food that they were providing, the opportunity that they had in front of them, but the continual improvement. And you can really tell the difference between, you can walk right into a facility and immediately understand, is this an owner which is working to continually improve or not?
Right.
And the number of them that are just always looking for that next thing, knowing that business is never static. It's always looking to improve, and we are in a highly dynamic time period.
Are you getting better tables now?
Well, most of the restaurants we work with all the time, don't have reservation systems. So I would say that I have a more discerning palette of where I want to be going and eating.
Well, we appreciate the support of the industry, of the IFBTA. Global membership is a big thing to step into right away, and we're just glad to have you here. So, Alex, thank you very much for your time, and we'll look forward to seeing what GetUpside does in the years to come here.
Thank you.
With the growth and the vision that you have. Rob Grimes with the IFBTA and with Alex Kinnier from GetUpside. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob.